You need 5 smart adjustments that you can use in your next match. Most players try to fix their way with weeks of various technical corrections. But today, we're gonna be discussing positioning, shot selection, and tiny habits that could fix your flow immediately. Let's get into it. Tip number 1 is how to defend balls in the corners. These are the hardest balls to defend for obvious reasons. So here's the cheat code you could use in your next match. On the right side, we will label this wall A, B, C, and D. If the ball goes to A, we'll go to C. If the ball goes to B, we'll go to D. If the ball hits C, we'll hit at A. And if the ball goes to D, we'll go to B. Now, for defending the corners as a left side player, use your left leg as a marker. If the ball goes on the right side, expect the ball to hit the back wall first and then the side wall. And if it goes to the left of your foot, expect it to hit the side wall and then the back wall, and then we'll hit right there. Tip number 2 are the best places to aim. Deep into the corner because it's a tougher recovery and it limits their shot options. Number 2 is aim at your opponent. Ideally, your racket side hip, racket side shoulder. This will force awkward positions and more errors. And number 3 is aim at the cage or the fence because it gives unpredictable bounces. And number 4 is deep up the middle because it's low risk and will cause confusion for your opponents. And low at the net player's feet. This is a very effective shot because they have to hit up, which will allow you to move forward and be more offensive. So a return of serve will be a great example to try to keep it nice and low at your opponent's feet. And also a Chiquita, which we've talked about in the past, we'll continue to talk about later on down the road, but that's more of an advanced shot that's super soft, aimed diagonally at your opponent's feet. Tip number 3 is players standing too close to the net. Oftentimes I'll see players that are about almost like 5-6 feet from the net. They're crowding the net. This makes you more vulnerable to lobs, and then you're gonna be more off balance on your volleys. You'll have less time to react. Instead, stand about maybe 9 to 10 feet from the net, which will allow you to still cover your volleys, the low shots, and effectively defend a lob with a vibra, a bandeja, or an overhead smash, or if you let it go off the wall, hit a bajada. Okay, so we have 3 out of the 5 tips completed. Be sure to stick around until the last tip because that one will really surprise you on how helpful it is. For right now, tip number 4, it's about playing high percentage paddle. And it's the 80-20 rule. Ever hear of it? It's used oftentimes in various different discussions on the business side of things, on the court. 80% of the time, we are going to be playing softer shots, more defensive. Lobs, Chiquitas, keeping it more neutral. And then 20% of the time is when we will be offensive and look to end the point with overhead smashes, por tres, por cuatro, you name it. So let's talk about the 80% of the time. Playing high percentage. That's going to be mainly the lob. Arguably the most important shot in paddle because this allows us to reclaim the net. First of all, it buys us time. It resets the rally and allows us to move forward. Now, also, when you're confused on where you should hit, always go middle. Like the famous saying goes, down the middle solves the riddle. It will confuse your opponents. And then the last tip for this is when you have an overhead smash, how often do we try to overhit it and either miss it or mishit it? Hit a ball at 100%. And then aim for 70 to 90% because that'll be much more high percentage. It'll be way more than enough to get the job done. And if you go all the way to 100% or try to overhit it, your risk for error will skyrocket. And tip number 5, last but certainly not least, is to have a proper warm-up. How often do you have friends, I know I'm guilty of this, where we get to the court, we get to a game, and we hit like one volley, one overhead, and then we say, I'm good. First of all, we have to if we're gonna be late. So that's number 1. We always want to try to get to the match, if possible, a few minutes before so we can get the blood flowing a little bit, jog, even if it's just for a minute, do some jumping jacks, get the mind right, leave the worries outside of this cage, outside of of this court to fully be present, to find our flow state from the very beginning. Then, when it's time to start hitting, how often do we see people just rallying from the baseline? Instead, go straight to the net and be sure to get a lot of reps in with the volleys and overheads and bandejas, because that's primarily what you'll be hitting most of the time in the game. So start there, start at the net instead of the baseline, and then naturally when your opponent starts to hit their volleys, you'll get some reps in from the backcourt. And that's a wrap, my friends. So today we touched on reading the corners effectively, the best shots to hit on the court, not crowding the net too closely, playing high percentage paddle using the 80-20 rule, and then how to have a proper warm-up so you're ready from the first point. So help me out. Leave a comment below on which city you're tuning in from. I'd love to hear from you. One of these days I want to get to every city that's in the comments to play some paddle and get to know the community from around the world. And if you found this video helpful, leave a like, smash the subscribe button, and keep getting those reps in and pursuing inner peace on and off the court like your life depends on it, because it does. I'll see you next time.